Hello everyone, welcome to this Maps of Misterra rules explanation video. It's a competitive tile placement game for 1 to 4 players. Game lengths around 45 to 60 minutes and ages 10 and up. For the setup, you'll want to place the board in the center of the table. Sort the terrain tiles by type and place them on the respective spaces with the missed side up. You will also have to sort the sketch cards according to the number of players. Make a pile face down and reveal 5 of them. On the central board, depending on the number of players, you will place the jungle tiles in the locations indicated. Here, the setup is for 2 players. Each player will receive a personal board, a player pawn in his color, and his character card, which will be placed with the basic game face up. We will see the advanced mode at the end of the video. Each player also receives 3 claim markers and 4 presumption cards. He will choose 2 that he will keep face down and discard the other 2. For a first game, we recommend taking basic presumption cards, which are in pairs and indicated by a letter. A first player is chosen at random and receives the first player token. The game can now begin. In Maps of Misterra, your goal as an explorer will be to map a new island that has just been discovered and score as many points as possible. During your turn, you will carry out 2 half days of exploration. A half day of exploration corresponds to a movement followed by an action. So you're going to make a move, an action, a move, an action. It will then be the next player to play. The turns will follow one another until the end of the game is triggered. At the start of the game, your first move is mandatory. You will land on the island and place your pawn on one of the 5 coast spaces on the board. You will then be able to choose between either mapping or claiming. Here, I will map. To map, I will choose one of the 5 sketch cards available and place it on my personal board. When I place a sketch card, I must place my card on one of the spaces seen by my explorer. The squares seen are the square where they are located, as well as the 4 orthogonally adjacent squares. Note that only this square is seen here since coast squares cannot be mapped. So I placed my sketch card like this, but I could very well have placed it here or like this. Then it will be necessary to update the central board. To update, you will need to place the mapped terrain types in the corresponding places. I have just completed my first half day of exploration. I will continue with a second half day of exploration, starting with the movement. From now on, move is optional. I will choose to make a move. The movements are always of only 1 space and in an orthogonal way, but each terrain type ability. This ability can be activated whether the terrain is missed side up or confirmed side up. The steep, since they are open places, will allow me to move an additional square. The lagoons will allow me to modify the choice at the level of the sketch cards. I will be able to choose to discard a sketch card by placing it back under the draw pile and revealing a new one. I will now choose the action that I will want to perform, either map or claim. I will map. I will choose this sketch card and again place it on my board. I can place it like this, or here, there, or I can even completely cover another sketch card already placed. Let's imagine that this is my action. As before, we will have to update the central board. I will place a mountain here, and where there is already a terrain tile, if the terrain tile is unconfirmed, so with the missed side visible, I will replace it. like this. If the terrain type was the same as what I'm mapping, then I'll confirm the terrain tile. When I play a sketch card where the tiles are already confirmed, place tiles are not changed. When I go to map and my pawn is on a mountain, I will be able to map further. Indeed, I am on an elevated place, so the view is clear. I will be able, when my pawn is on a mountain, to map, for example, up to here, which is this square, or else up to this square here. For now, I've completed my 2 half-days of exploration. I've finished my turn, so let's update the sketch cards and it's up to the next player. Here, we're in a slightly more advanced part. It's my turn again. I'll choose to go to the jungle and then perform an action. This time, I'm not going to map. I'm going to choose to claim. To claim, I will choose a sketch card and discard it completely. It is permanently removed from the game, and then I will be able to place a claim marker on the tile where I am. Please note that to claim areas that will earn me points at the end of the game, there are several rules to follow. The first rule is that when I want to claim, I must be on a confirmed terrain tile. Second, you cannot claim an area already claimed by someone else. So, this area has not yet been claimed. An area is made up of terrain tiles of the same type, whether the terrains are confirmed or not. So here, I have a jungle area. Here, a jungle area that has already been claimed by the blue player, and here a mountain area that has already been claimed by the purple player. It is therefore impossible to come here and claim the area again. We've seen the abilities of 3 types of land so far. When I'm in the jungle, since they are very dense places and the visibility is very low, it's impossible to map. So when my pawn is in the jungle, I can only claim. Please note that during my turn, movements and actions are optional. I could very well choose not to move or perform any action. For example, being a blue player, if I move here, I will not be able to map since it is a jungle, and I will not be able to claim since the area has already been claimed by green. Each time you perform an action or decide to pass, a sketch card is taken. If I map, the sketch card comes up on my parchment board. If I claim or decide to pass, the sketch card is discarded. So, on my turn, I will systematically use 2 sketch cards. You will therefore chain the turns of the game until the end of the game is triggered. There are 3 ways to end the game. Either a player has completed his personal board, or there are no more sketch cards in the river or in the draw pile, or the central board is completely confirmed. Be careful that completing like this does not trigger the end of the game. All terrain tiles must be confirmed. When the end of the game is triggered, we end the round. That is to say until the first player, and then we go to the counting of points. Before scoring, for convenience, you will remove all unconfirmed terrain tiles from the central board. You will then score 2 points for each correctly mapped spaces, i.e., where the type of mapped terrain corresponds to the tile present on the central board. Each empty space on your personal board causes you to lose 1 point. For example, here, -2 points. Your 2 presumption cards earn you points. Note that the presumption cards earn you points based on what you have mapped on your parchment board. They are in no way related to the central board. For example, this one earns you points for each steep area based on its size. This area of 5 squares is worth 9 points. Each claimed area earns you points based on its size. You score 2 points for each terrain tile it is made up of. Here, Mauve scores 6 points for the mountain area. Be careful that if 2 areas have joined, the claim markers are removed and do not yield anything. You have the Expert variant, which is here. It is played with exactly the same rules, except at the end of each game you will score 3 additional points for each line and each column, which would be perfectly mapped. Each time, the player with the highest total wins the game. You now have all the Maps of Misterra rules. I wish you very good games. See you soon!